they're now in the light. The Vanguard is here and they will be polite. The ruin is stirring, her cult's getting brash. Our heroes must stop them, let's help them dash. Hunt all the Red Talons and give them the blade. Civilization they're trying to save. Evil and mayhem have a new foe. The Vanguard will teach you the meaning of woe. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Kevin. Going around the table, Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake, and I will be playing today a new character, as will the rest of us. A Warlock named Cinnamon.
And what's your race?
Oh, a Tabaxi Warlock named Cinnamon. That makes a lot more sense, that name, with that context.
It's going to be hard getting used to.
Yeah.
And John.
Hello. I am now playing Mjömjö, a Dragonborn cleric of Bahamut.
And the only one who's not a cat that has a name that sounds like a cat.
Actually, pretty sure Shane is a human? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, let's find out. Shane.
That's me. I'm playing Horatius Smithson, the human fighter, but I also multi-class into rogue as my last 2 levels.
All right. And Hannah.
I'm Hannah, and I'll be playing Leandre, a Tabaxi ranger.
All right. So you find yourselves in the city of Kala. It's recently been a hotbed of Red Talon activity over the past year. After their mayor was assassinated, the Temple of Arathis had been burned down, and the Red Talons claimed responsibility. Since then, there's kind of been not necessarily a lockdown of the city, let's say enhanced vigilance. There's been a curfew enacted. There's been a mass hiring of guards in the city to patrol and to keep an eye on things, as well as investigators who have either been brought in or brought up from the guard ranks to root out the evil in the city. The once secretive organization known as the Savior's Vanguard has become very public and has set up operations in the city, all but kind of taking over. From what you've heard, that the city now and the new mayor are kind of like a puppet government. You don't know how much reality to that there is, but the Savior's Vanguard has become highly visible as the people who are kind of running the show at this point. The Savior's Vanguard is also recruiting. And for your various reasons, you've been tracking down Red Talons, either in a sense of responsibility to root out their evil, or perhaps the large bounties that have been placed on their heads. And your ability has not gone unnoticed by those rewarding those bounties. And you've been invited to a meeting to take place this day at the City Council building at noon. But you're going to be late, as there are huge crowds this day. The city square is filled to capacity, and you witness not one, but 2 executions of some high bounty Red Talons that you've seen wanted posters for basically everywhere that you've gone. It was a Dragonborn and an elf that were executed this day. And as you fight through the crowds to get to the council entrance, there's some guards there that you learn that this meeting's been postponed for an hour due to these executions. So there's about 50 people gathered outside the council building waiting to be let into this meeting. And after about an hour, when the crowds have died down and the bodies have been taken away and the heads have been pitched and placed on spikes outside the gates of the council building, you see a large silver dragonborn push his way through and up the steps. And you can now see that a halfling in front of this hulking giant is leading the way. They approach the guards, and the halfling says something and walks through. And after the pair enter the building, one of the guards, a stout-looking dwarf, yells, "Okay, y'all can come in. Straight down the hall to the council chambers, and be on ye best behavior. And go straight to the meeting hall. No stragglers or wanderers. We got an eye on you." And with that, go ahead.
Excuse me, it's been established dwarves are French.
So you start to file into the hall of the council with the others. And after a few minutes, once everyone gets in, the doors close behind you, and the chatter begins to settle down. You look around the room, and there appears to be like all kinds here. You see basically all races, from Dragonborn, half-elf, half-orc, humans. You see some Tabaxi in here, dwarves. Basically all the races are representative here. You even see some tieflings, which is kind of unusual because you haven't seen that many. At the dais, there stands the silver dragonborn and the halfling, and about a half dozen other people and several other races behind him. They're dressed in various armors, but they're all wearing this grayish-green cloak and a symbol on their breasts that you haven't really seen before. The halfling, dressed in charcoal gray leather armor and breastplate, clears his throat and speaks. "And that, my friends, is how you deal with Red Talons." And the audience here erupts in cheers and applause and laughter. The halfling waits, and it dies down as like he raises up his hand and motions for things to calm down. He says, "I want to thank you all for coming today. I'm Orin, the companion. And you've all heard the call of the Vanguard, and you want to take care of this problem, the evil that's infecting this land. We'll be interviewing you all to see if you're a fit for our organization. We aren't looking for thugs or bounty hunters. We're looking for those dedicated to our cause. You're here because you're the best of the best and have proved your ability to weed out this stain in our civilization. You would not have been invited if it wasn't so. We'll be conducting interviews with you with our captains and lieutenants behind us. If you fit, you'll be given provisional status and be sent on various assignments throughout the region of Sul-El with a full member of the Vanguard with you. They'll be testing your mettle and resolve and trustworthiness. Once you've proven yourselves, you'll be admitted as a full member with all the privileges and responsibilities that entails. Good luck and good hunting. The Savior's willing." And he and the silver dragonborn leave the room. Then a large half-orc in silver breastplate steps forward and says, "I'm Captain Khan of the Vanguard. Form up into groups of 3. In each of the offices, he will be interviewing you. You 3, come with me." So now would probably be a good time to describe what you look like. Let's start with Cinnamon.
All right, so Cinnamon is like an orange cat, almost cinnamon, you could say. Tabaxi of about average height, an average build with yellow eyes. And he is currently wearing a bit of armor on him, but even though he has a bunch of daggers, they're strapped to his back as opposed to somewhere where you could actually reach them. And he also has a shield strapped to his back. He carries a book of some kind. It doesn't look like a nice book. It's kind of tattered and ragged. Other than that, he looks like he's dressed in very practical clothing with a mercenary insignia on it.
All right. Shane, describe what your character looks like.
Sure thing. Horatius is a bit shorter than 6 foot, not extremely tall. He's got a bit of a bigger build, not necessarily through like genetics, but more just through constant training over several years. He's a bit older, gray streaks in his hair. Very, he's got a bit of a bigger beard, probably about going down to his to like his collarbone. Gray streaks through his hair, which is extremely messy, but he keeps it a bit swept back so that it doesn't cover his sight. Tan skin from he's a white dude, but he's decently tanned just from his constant years of bounty hunting, going on trips as a mercenary, and his hair is usually black.
Okay. And John, describe what your character looks like.
Mjömjö is a tall dragonborn, copper. So he's got that pinky orangey color of copper. He's dressed in full plate mail, carrying a mace and a shield. The shield has a dragon embossed on it.
Okay. This half-orc, Captain Karn, motions for the three of you to follow him, and he is going to lead you into a room off the side of the meeting hall here. You walk inside, and it's kind of spacious. It appears to be like a office of maybe one of the council here. It's finely apportioned. It's got bookshelves and a nice rug. There is a fine wood desk at the back of the office here, which is probably about 15 feet by 15 feet. There's also a plate glass window, which doesn't appear to have like any flaws in it. It's basically clear with some nice drapes and a painting of a man that you don't recognize that's on the wall. You enter and you all go inside, and this Captain Karn's going to close the door behind you. Inside, behind the desk, you are going to see two people. One appears to be, by their holy symbol, a priest of Horatius, and the other one appears to be a Tabaxi. Captain Karn walks behind the desk and says, "As I said before, I'm Captain Karn. This is Darren, a priest of Horatius, who will be administering a Zone of Truth spell. To my left here is Sergeant Leandre. Do you want to describe your character and what she looks like?"
Sure. So Leandre is fairly tall. Even for her species, she's about 6'9". Yeah. Anyway, so she's fairly tall. She has a thick coat of white fur that's covered in gray and black splotches, and she's dressed in leathers with a long cloak, though no boots, because she doesn't like wearing them.
Okay. So Captain Karn's going to say, "Priest, if you would." And you see the priest start to cast a spell. I need everybody to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Can I choose to fail?
Can't we voluntarily fail?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, I will
absolutely.
choose to voluntarily fail.
So we all just voluntarily fail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I assume that Leandre would be like, "Yep, this is, I know exactly what's going on, and I'm not going to fight it."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make enemies with the Vanguard.
That's different.
Damn.
So you feel this spell wash over you, and Karn looks to the priest, and the priest nods to him, and he says, "Thank you, priest. That'll be all." And you see this priest, who's a middle-aged man in these gray robes, walk out and close the door behind him. And Karn says, "It's just a precaution to make sure that everyone's on the up and up. So, We'll be going around the room. I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself and your motivation for being here. Let's start with you, Dragonborn. What's your name?
Hello, friends. My name is Mjömjö, and I'm a priest of Bahamut. I was a soldier of Anthon's age, working in the 5th Foot of Lord Bahamut, dealing with ruffians who came over the border from Sunshine, didn't you know? Then one day I heard the call. Bahamut warned me of their coming trouble. I'm sorry, I can't keep that up. The looks on your faces. Hey, I'm sorry. That was an imitation. I was imitating a foppish nobleman that I met.
Karn looks unamused.
Well, must have some fun. In any event, I did answer the call from Bahamut, warned me of these coming troubles. And since that time, I've left Lord Baramir's service, and I have been walking the lands, helping the troubled, bringing justice to the unjust, gaining strength for the trials ahead.
And what skills would you be bringing to the Vanguard?
I am a war cleric of Bahamut. That means that I can bring Bahamut's holy justice and wrath upon those who are deserving.
Good.
Also, I have this big heavy stick, and he wraps this mace on the table.
And what are your motivations for being here?
To destroy the unjust, to defeat these Red Talons, to make the world a better. I don't understand the question.
That'll do. And then he is going to look to the human. And you, human, what's your name?
My name is Horatius Smithson.
Why are you here?
I figured that hunting Red Talons is the best way to make the city and civilization at large better. I spent about 10 years as a guard in my small town, and I didn't think I was making much of an impact. I started traveling, doing some side work as a mercenary, and I saw the call to arms to fight the Red Talons and figured if I'm not going to do it, who will?
And what skills would you be bringing to the Vanguard?
I have extensive martial experience as a Battlemaster, and I also have some side talents as a scout.
And then he will look to Cinnamon. And you, Tabaxi?
My name is Cinnamon, and I'll get straight to the point. I'm here for the money. I'm here because I am a mercenary without a unit. I want to bond with some, good types. And it seems like you are the finest of the fine. Did I slip out? I did not mean to say that. I meant to say something more insulting. But I was a small boy on a farm who chanced upon arcane powers. And I was not very good at it. But I was taught and raised as a mercenary, and this seems just up my alley. I do damage, I blow things up, Red Talons especially.
Okay. This is Sergeant Leandre. Leandre, would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Leandre. Have fought with the Vanguard for many years, and it has been my duty to try to rid this city and this world of Red Talons for as long as this threat has been on us. I am looking to lead a group who can help me in that quest.
Thank you, Sergeant. Leandre here will be your supervisor during your provisional period that Orin had mentioned. You'll be sent on various assignments, and you will be tested for your resolve and your effectiveness. If at such point it is deemed that you are valuable and trustworthy, you will become full members of the Vanguard. To that end, we have an assignment for you. We have reason to believe that there is a cell of Red Talons in Birth, and that they may be a safe house there, and that the rest of these dark companions, the collaborators with the Dragonborn and Elf that were executed this day, may have fled the city and left for Birth. You will be tasked with traveling there and investigating to see if there's any merit to this. I see that most of you are outfitted. Any supplies that you may need can be obtained through the quartermaster here in Kala, and Sergeant Leandre can show you to that. I think the interview here is done at this point, unless you have any questions for me.
None for me, boss.
Yes,
well equipped.
I have a question for the sergeant. What do you prefer? Do you prefer Leandre, Sergeant Leandre, Sergeant? These things are important to me.
Let's start with Sergeant Leandre for now, shall we?
Very well, Sergeant Leandre. Do either of you two have a rank either? Mjömjö and Horatius?
Indeed.
Not that I know of.
Can you tell me your ranks then?
I was a common soldier. Corporal.
Corporal, interesting.
You know, as I recall, I think I'm a Vanguard initiate at the moment.
Vanguard Initiate. Do either of you have preferred titles, names, ranks? Or should I just call you Mjömjö and Horatius?
Mjömjö
Or-
is just fine. I left the soldiers and life behind me some time ago.
Horit's fine.
Horit. Got it.
And Karn speaks up and says, the only people in this room currently that have any ranks that you should be concerned with are me and Leandre. After you prove yourselves and are inducted into the Vanguard, you will be given ranks as appropriate to your skill level and leadership.
Sounds good to me, boss.
Well, you will all each be given a per diem and vouchers in order to get rooms here within the city. The per diem goes to your food and lodging wherever you may go. And he is going to pull out a sack at his belt and hand it to Leandre and says, this should be quite enough to get you to Birth and back or wherever you may go in your investigation for the time being. And also, you will take this. And he pulls out a stone and hands it to Leandre and says, this is a sending stone. This will allow us to communicate any information that you have in your investigation back here, and I to you in case we find out any more information or leads in your mission. Use it sparingly, as I'm a busy person. Are we understood?
Certainly.
Yes.
Crystal clear.
All right. Well, good hunting. And he is going to pull back his cloak and cape swish and walk away out the door.
What's in the bag?
You look inside the bag, and you are going to find 400 gold pieces. But it's actually 40 platinum, because it's easier to carry.
Okay, cool.
Which that is more than enough to stay and supply just about anything that you could think of for the time being. This is more money than some families exist on in their lifetimes.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like that much.
Oh, it's a lot.
It doesn't sound like much to Talia.
Yeah. In the adventuring economy, it's not. I mean, an adventurer could basically walk into a small town and destroy their entire economy within a day. So at this point, you have been given your orders. It's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The city is yours if you want to provision up at the quartermaster for horses if you don't have them, or food, a cart, maybe even minor magical items such as healing potions. That would be the place to start.
I will say, all right, let us get to the quartermaster and start provisioning. In the morning, we leave for Birth.
Whatever you say, boss. I'm more inclined to leave this afternoon, but you're in charge.
And I don't suppose we get wages from that, do we?
Leandre would know that, like, you are getting wages, which is part of the per diem that you have, and then you would also be paid by bounty.
I will. Leandre will kind of give Cinnamon a side eye and say, "We will discuss that later. But yes, you will be getting some compensation."
Well, ain't no use standing here lollygagging. Let's get to the quartermaster.
Yeah, let's head to the quartermaster.
Okay, so you leave the council building, and let's go up here to the column map. So currently you are here. This is the hall of the council, and the square outside where the executions took place. You are going to go up to the barracks, which is basically directly behind the building to the east. You make it to the barracks, and there's several guards outside here that are training with various weapons, be it long swords or spears. You see a lot of young faces here that you think are new recruits, but you're not seeing anyone who has any of the markings of rank or office within the Vanguard. One of the things that sticks out about Leandre is she has a symbol on her breast that is a it's basically, it looks like it's a circle with a V in the middle of it, and also there appears to be like a kraken head above it with tentacles wrapping around the V.
At the quarter, so are we at the quarters master place right now? Or are you in?
You're getting there. So as you walk up to the barracks, there's 4 guards outside here that are guarding the gate that goes into it. They see Leandre and just nod to her and allow you through. You go through this tall gate that's probably about 20 feet tall that has a part of a portcullis hanging down from it. You walk inside, and in this structure, there's like 2 stone parapets that come up. The building itself is about 2 stories, and all the way around it is a large stone and iron reinforced wall that's about 15 feet tall. As you walk through the entrance here, it's going to open up into a larger courtyard, and inside here you're going to see supplies. You're going to see some city guards that are having lunch outside here. You're also going to see a large stable with several dozen horses and a blacksmith towards the back here. And there's currently 3 blacksmiths, 1 dwarf and 2 human that are pounding away. You can see that some of them are making swords and spears, and the dwarf is making armor. But Leandre leads you past them, and there is a doorway towards the back of this courtyard. You walk inside, you see a dwarf that's giving orders to some people, and he's finishing up with someone that he's taking a provision order from. You hear him say to the person who's like, "Well, try to get you as much as we can, but supplies are running short currently. But we'll take care of it. Next." And he motions for you, Leandre, as you're walking in, to come forward.
Good afternoon. We are looking for 2 weeks of provisions, if possible. And she's going to look to her compatriots. Do we want horses, or do you want to go out in town for those?
Whichever's easier.
Horses,
stressed.
please.
And 4 horses,
Horses.
if possible.
Yeah, we can do that. And you said 2 weeks of provisions?
Yes, for now. That should get us there at the very least, and we can purchase more when we're there.
All right. Bread, cheese, jerky, fine.
Sounds delicious.
All right. He writes down what you're looking for, and you see him pull out this stamp and, stamps it, and then hands it back to you. You get your provisions out there by delivery. Just take this to the stables. They'll give you the horses you need. Is there anything else I can do for you, Sergeant?
Is there any, do you guys need any weapons, or, anything else?
I'm already well equipped. I'll be good, fine.
Is there somebody that sells god paraphernalia, like patches for the different gods of their markings?
And the dwarf looks at you and says, not here. We provisioned the god. Maybe go down and try to find a souvenir vendor by the temple district for that.
That's reasonable enough.
May I also have as many arrows as you're allowed to give me? And she's going to give him a toothy smile.
Okay. And it says, well, take as much as you can carry. The bar of Fletchers are out there by the blacksmith. And he makes an addendum to the provision order. Hands it back to you.
Thank you so kindly. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well, Sergeant. Next.
So I'm gonna go get arrows, because I have a bag of holding. I'm just gonna shove like 100 arrows in there.
I
Okay.
knew it. I knew you were going to said as many as I can carry, and you can probably carry, I don't know, like 500 arrows, probably way more.
So you go out to the Boyer Fletcher that are out here making these steel-tipped broadhead arrows and attaching feathers to them, and you can see where they've just got like this mound of like feathers that appear to be a combination of like goose and chicken, and you're like, wow, that must have been a lot of birds that somebody's eating. But they direct you to the arrows that they've got made currently, and there's probably about 200 here. The person who appears to be like the foreman in charge of making these, his eyes go wide as like you grab the lot and start shoving them into the bag of holding. But he doesn't say anything.
I will nod to him and say, "Have a wonderful evening."
That's the only response you get. As you're walking away, he says, well, looks like we're going to have to step it up.
Hey, since we're leaving tomorrow morning, Sergeant, do you mind if we just get the horses then, so that way we don't have to handle them in the meantime?
Well, let's discuss. We could leave tonight, but that means that we would be camping very early on.
We can choose
or
them
can-
now and then leave them in these fine people's care.
Very true. We can get a room for the night here, and then come back for our horses and leave in the morning. Which would you guys prefer?
Group vote, I guess. I vote to leave an hour and a half. That at least give us about 3 to 4 hours of travel time before we have to put down our tents.
My
Well,
vote.
that sounds reasonable.
My vote is to stay here for a little bit, enjoy ourselves before we go on to the big stuff.
She's gonna look at Cinnamon and say, "Well, I would apologize, but I'm not too upset. It looks like we're actually heading out this evening. It seems reasonable to get a head start and get there as quickly as possible, especially if we want to find these Red Talons. And it seems that most of us would be willing to do that."
Yeah, Red Talons aren't going to wait on us.
As you say, Sergeant Leandre.
But yeah, so let's get our horses now. I need to go grab a quick thing from the. I'm a bit of a religious guy, so I like to have my patches on my armor. I just got this thing. But yeah, I just need to grab that. Take like 5 minutes, and then we can settle up to get out.
All right, we will get the horses, and you go get your religious paraphernalia, and we will meet back here in 10.
Sounds lovely.
Good enough for me.
All right, so what's your character's name again, Shane?
Horatius. I'll change my nickname on the server.
Yes, all right, that and Roll20 would be great. So Horatius, you're going to find religious symbols?
Yeah, I'd like to find a patches that I could sew onto my armor for Cord, the Raven Queen, and Morden.
What was the last one?
Morden.
Oh, Morden. Okay. You're able to, outside the temple district here, you are able to find sort of like what's a souvenir shop that has holy iconography. So you're not able to find as much patches as you are like holy symbols that are made in various metals from gold, silver, even platinum, bronze, copper, and iron. You're also able to find like statues and incense and that sort of thing. You're able to find them for Morden and Cord. You're not seeing any here for the Raven Queen. You're also not seeing any that would like correlate to, let's say, the evil gods. Most of what you're seeing here is like Cord, Morden, Palor, Arathis.
Okay, can I walk up to the vendor? Is the vendor present?
Yeah, there's a woman who appears to be like in her 60s. She is human, and she seems pretty well dressed for a merchant.
Hey, good afternoon. Quick question. You wouldn't happen to have a symbol of the Raven Queen here, would you?
No, those aren't in that great of a demand around here, but let me see. I've got some stuff in the back that hasn't really sold, and I haven't really thrown out, so well, just wait here a moment. And
I appreciate it.
She walks back into the back, and about 5 minutes goes by, and she comes in, and now you can see she's a little hunched, and she says, "This is the only thing that I could find that had any relationship to the Raven Queen." And she holds it out, and it is an ebony, like crow's head, that is made out of ebony wood.
That works for me. How much is it?
For the Raven Queen, I can 3 silver pieces would be fine.
I can do that. What about these other 2?
So you're able to find a bronze. Well, they've got all different kinds of metals in this. It just depends on how much you want to spend.
I'll take 2 bronze ones.
Okay. So she looks at that and she says, for the lot, let's say 1 gold piece, 5 silver.
That sounds good to me.
All right.
I'll fork it over.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
I think that's it. Actually, yeah. Can I get a handful of incense?
Sure. And she says, we have all kinds, so would you like some frankincense? It's quite pleasant.
How much is it?
For a handful, probably, let's see. She measures it out. You know, she takes a handful and actually puts it on a scale. And she says, that'll be 2 gold pieces.
Got any cheaper stuff?
Yes, we've got some. How much do you want to spend? Let's just start
let's
there.
say 1 gold. Let's go 1 gold.
Okay, I could give you let's say a handful of myrrh.
Sounds good to me.
And she measures it out and puts it into a cloth sack and gives it to you.
Okay, that comes out to, 2 gold, 5 silver?
Yes.
Easy day. And I'm forking it over.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You as well, thank you.
All right, so you make it back to the stables where everybody else is waiting?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here you've basically got your choice of horses here, except for a couple that are in a separate part of the stables that Leandre would know are actually the horses of some of the officers here for the collar guard. So you couldn't take those, but there's a wide assortment of ponies, horses, and war horses.
Is the stable master at hand?
Yeah, so you see a human who appears to be, he's a human man in his 60s with a gray beard, and that appears to be giving some instructions to some stable hands.
I'm gonna walk up to him. Hey, good sir.
Hey, what can I do for you?
Me and my sergeant here and my companions, we've got a provision order for 4 horses. I'm wondering if you could help us pick some out. I'm not the best when it comes to horses and animals,
Aye. So, tell me a little bit about what you'd be needing them for.
We should be traveling about for the next 2 weeks, for the most part. I'm hoping for something more endurance focused.
For endurance, you can't beat these Marilash horses over here. And he shows you some horses that are a little bit larger than the rest of the horses, but not as big as some of these that you would recognize as war horses from your time of being a soldier. Says, yeah, you planning on getting any scraps? Or you just traveling?
We might. Hey, Sergeant, what do you think?
With luck, we wouldn't be engaged in much battle.
I asked the sergeant, but okay.
I believe that 4 standard horses shall be enough. I don't foresee us having any mounted battle.
All right, then these over here is probably what you want. And he points to a selection of these larger Marilesh horses. He says, these go for hours and hours at a canter, at a gallop. They're not as fast, but they can maintain the speed longer.
That is precisely what we're looking for.
All right, well, you got the order here, then take your pick.
Leandre's going to look for the largest, or one of the larger horses, since she's got a bigger stature, so that she's not cramped on the saddle.
Okay, so you find this one of the larger ones that's this chestnut color horse with a white diamond on its nose.
Would I be able to... Oh, sorry, are you done, Hannah?
Yes, she'll pick that one.
Can I roll a animal handling check to see if I can find one with a better temperament?
Sure.
I don't have any proficiency or anything, but I can try. 6.
They all seem about the same to you.
One.
You guys want to take your pick first? I still want to think about it.
I will look for a horse capable of carrying Mjömjö's weight, and brave and strong and awesome in all ways.
So you find like the 18. So you're looking around and you find one of these Marileshi horses. Although it's not like the biggest, it appears to be a little bit more stocky that you think can support your weight better.
Is it a chestnut?
It's not a chestnut. It is a... oh, I'm sorry. Did you want it to be chestnut?
To match his copper color, yeah.
Okay, then it can be chestnut.
Yay.
Oh, but I didn't get
You just painted the horse.
I'm gonna have to reapply the dye every few weeks.
Okay, we can retcon it. You can have whatever color horse you want.
I'm just fucking with you. I don't care. It's fine. That's why I put on the stupid voice, because it's,
The Appaloosa.
Some retcons are going a little too far here, Hannah. And character multi-classing, that's fine. But changing the color of the horse that the DM gave you graciously, that's over the line. Okay.
Leandre has an Appaloosa now.
no, it's fine. I don't even remember what was the color of my horse.
It was chestnut.
Okay.
That's a horse of a different color.
I'm just gonna pick one at random, I guess.
Okay.
Unless you'll let me roll a perception check to try again.
You already did it.
Yeah. That's reasonable enough. I'll just take one at random.
Okay.
That seems like you would handle me.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You're probably going to abandon them at some point anyway. Although you were really good in the last campaign about just not, abandoning your horses somewhere.
Yeah, we cared about our horses.
Evil as shit, but you liked animals.
Animals can't betray you.
That's a lie. Both of my dogs are actually my husband's dogs, and they were both supposed to be mine.
That's more of a metaphorical betrayal. Maybe you just rolled a garbage animal handling check.
Oh, probably.
All right, so you pick whatever color horses that you want.
I'll pick a black
Poor
one.
Kevin.
It's like it's the horse choosing episode. We're going to spend 20 minutes on it.
Horses are important.
They are important. Anything special you want to do with your horse, Cinnamon?
Just a random horse. Not just any horse. Literally a random horse.
Okay.
Roll a die, draw a card, whatever it is.
Roll me a d6.
Because there's only 6 horses left.
It is a 2.
Okay, so
War pony.
no, it's another one of these Marileshi horses. This one is dark gray with black splotches. All right, so you got your horses,
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
and you're making your way out of town.
Yarp.
That's the plan. And while I'm riding the horse, I'm gonna try and configure the 3 symbols onto my belt.
Okay. You're gonna have a hard time doing that while you're riding.
I guess I can wait until we camp.
Okay.
Big retcon, but
So you make your way out of town by about 6 o'clock and start traveling through the mountain pass into Marilesh. As you walk out, you're going to see some town guards here as the road turns from cobblestones into gravel. That are going to see Leandre, who's leading the group out, give you a nod. No hassle, no questions. You make your way through the mountain pass here to the southwest, and kind of claustrophobic as there are these tall mountains on either side of the path here, which is probably about 150 feet wide at its widest point. But the road here is gravel and probably about 20 feet wide. You are going to see some carts and people on horses sparsely come through here and pass you on the road as they make their way to Kala. Kind of give you a nod and keep their heads down as you appear to be a heavily armed party. You're going to travel for probably about 2.5 hours. The sun's starting to go down when you reach the border of Marilesh. Here there's a checkpoint with 3 guards outside of it that see you come up as the sun starts to set. And you hear one say, well, what be your business? Why you entering Marilesh?
We are headed to Birth to search for a cell of Red Talons.
Oh,
Do I have like a letter of some kind of official letter of like this is what we're doing on behalf of the...
You wouldn't have that, but as being like a Vanguard, you know that you don't really need anything like that, as basically the civilized nations here have opened their borders to members of the Vanguard to pass freely between borders. So if you just check him with your credentials, which would be like the symbol at your breast.
So I'll show my credentials and say, will you let us through?
Of course, Vanguard. I'm sorry, didn't recognize you or see your badge there. Yes, of course. Come through and safe travel to you. Welcome to Marilesh.
Oh, thank you so much. Don't worry. You were just doing your job, and we appreciate everything that you do. And she will smile at him kindly, but like showing her teeth, so it might come off more aggressive than intended.
He kind of like pulls his eyes down so he's not looking directly at you, and says, as you say, safe travels and good hunting. Hope you found them talons.
Thank you. Blessing and Cordon to you.
Oh, and you as well. And he motions for you to pass through into the country of Marilesh.
Hey, Sergeant, we got hassle-free interstate travel. That's pretty nice.
Well, I mean, we are working with most of the civilized nations, and
we serve the gods.
she's kind of gonna look at him with a little side eye.
I don't
We
think this
serve a
is a
greater
theocracy.
purpose, for sure.
Nevertheless, we do serve the gods.
Fair enough. I guess it's about time to start putting up our tents, huh? It's getting pretty dark.
Yes, let us look for a place to camp. Perhaps an established campsite would be beneficial. And she is going to look around for a place to camp.
You've been through this region before on your travels into the country of Marilesh, and you know probably about another 20 minutes up the road. There's not really a camping site, but there is a place where travelers have cleared out some ground over the years as they make their way through the mountain valleys here. So there's a clearing up here and a fire pit that's been used quite a bit.
I will relay that information to the group and say just 20 minutes more.
All right.
Good enough for me.
So at this point, the sun has gone down. You're traveling through here. If you don't have dark vision, you're probably going to need some torches to see.
Yeah, I'll light a torch and stay on the head by the sergeant.
Okay. So you make it to this camping site, and you can see that there's already some travelers here who have set up camp. Appears to be a wagon and 2 horses, and as you get closer, they've already put up a fire, and you can see that there are 2 humans who appear to either be some sort of guards or hands or something that are workers, and then a gnome who is currently building a fire as these 2 humans are gathering some wood.
I will go up and say, do you mind if we join you at your camp this evening?
And he like takes a look and like looks around and like sees like these heavily armed and armored people, and he's hesitant for a second, and then he looks back at his own people, who are appear to be like two human males that are in their 20s, and he says, yeah, sure, be happy for the protection. Yes, come sit by the fire.
Leandre will say, "Don't worry, we're with the Vanguard. We will protect you to the best of our ability."
Oh, the Vanguard, you say? Oh, that's great. We got a couple rabbits along the way that we'll be happy to share with you.
We have things that we can add to a stew, to improve the feast. And she'll take out like a night's worth of provisions for them.
Excellent.
I've got the seasoning handled.
So
I'm gonna put a little pad.
Says, name's Locke. I'm a merchant traveling from Forest Peak. These are my two hired hands over here. This is Baron and David. And they kind of nod to you but don't say much as they bring over some more wood for the fire that Locke's building up here.
Please
Nice
meet
to meet
you.
And you as well. So he makes himself busy pulling a pot and getting some water from some water barrels, or a water barrel that they're carrying, and starts to butcher some of these rabbits and put in the stew, and starts making some small talk. Says, so where y'all be heading?
We're headed to Birth.
Birth, huh? Been there a couple of times. Not much of a city, and not a lot of trade going on there. Why are you headed there?
Vanguard business. But you said you were a merchant, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you suggest that we go in Birth if we're searching for additions to our provisions?
Well, there's two general stores there, a couple taverns if you want to find something fresher.
Any places that we should avoid?
Wouldn't say places to avoid. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot going on in Birth. Don't know what your business is there, but kind of a sleepy little town.
Leandre will continue to attempt to make small talk, but she's not very good at it.
Okay. Well, he's going to go on, like, explaining to you, like, what his trade is, that he trades in various incenses and, like, hard-to-find minerals, gems, that kind of stuff. And he proceeds to explain to you how, like, the whole market for all this works, and you're getting pretty bored.
While he's cooking, can I go help him out a little bit? I have the pouch of what's it called?
Spices.
Yeah, it's like some dude's spices. It has an actual name.
Was that one of your magical items?
Yeah.
Was it the dust of deliciousness?
No, it was like it's like a pouch that I can use to make pretty much any seasoning that I want for up to like 10 meals in a day or something like that.
Okay.
I got some spices from my hometown in here. You mind if I toss it in?
Sure, yes. I mean, anything to kick up these bunnies. What do you got?
Pretty much anything I can think of. Do you have any preferences?
Kind of partial to Vorn cuisine. Kind of like it spicy, but a little bit of sweet. I think they use a lot of cinnamon and clove. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, I got some of that. I'm gonna take a handful of each out and put it in from this little pouch and toss it into the stew, as well as like another seasoning to help bolden it out.
Okay. So you add all that, and we'll say like an hour later, you all have your meal, and it's pretty tasty. Some rabbit stew with some vegetables and some rice from your provisions. So, Vanguard business, you say in Birth. What's going on there? Anything you can tell me? Anything interesting? What's the gossip?
Oh, nothing too interesting. We're just investigating some things on behalf of the Vanguard. And she will look pointedly at her companions to indicate that she doesn't really want them saying too much.
Tight-lipped. I get it. Secrecy and all, and investigations. I hear y'all doing good work, rooting out them talons. Any gossip on that front?
Well, 2 Red Talons were just killed in Kala.
Oh, anyone I would know?
I certainly hope not.
Well, no, not personally. But, I mean, there's wanted posters up all over the place. Just wondering if I'd seen any bounties that they just collected on.
Some Dragonborn and some elf, I believe.
Well, that could describe a lot of them, but when there were like a red Dragonborn or something they were offering a lot of gold for her head.
She's gonna look conspicuously at him and say, something like that.
No, well, I mean, they're all over the place. The wanted posters.
Yes. I honestly, there's so many wanted posters at this point, and I was not present at the
Capture.
I can't. Oh my god, the beheading. What is that called?
Execution.
Yeah, that one. I was not present at the execution.
Oh, they executed her.
No,
Yes.
more than she deserved.
Well, yeah. Where'd they track her down? Do you know?
Apparently, she came to Kala of her own volition.
Why would a Red Talon, willingly walk into what's basically become the headquarters of the Vanguard that that's what the rumors say.
Oh, foolishness. Who knows?
I heard that she was crazy in the head, a wild spellcaster of some sort. And you know how those spellcaster types can be a bit special in the head with the magic affecting it and all.
That's the truth. I met a wizard up in Forest Peak that thought he was a bird. Went around pecking people all the time, picking up seeds off the ground.
Well, shall we set up a watch for the evening, or...?
I'll take first watch if you don't mind.
That's fine with me. Wake me when you're ready. I'll take second.
I'll take third.
I was going to say Cinnamon because of his night vision. We will both be able to see a little bit dark, a little bit better.
Good point.
And you can take full.
All right.
So the night goes by without any issue at all. The sun comes up the next morning, and you see Locke gets up probably before the sun comes up. He's already started making some breakfast out of this stew, while his 2 hired hands start loading up their tent into the cart. You eat breakfast, and Locke bids you a good journey as he and his companions hit the road just as the sun starts coming up.
Safe travels.
Yeah, you as well. Good, whatever you're doing. Bye.
Yes, may the trades be in your favor. Or something. I don't know.
Well, you as well. And they take off down the road. You all saddle up and head out. It's about another day and a half's travel before you make it to the town of Birth here. And I think that's probably a pretty good place to end it right there, as we're already at like an hour and 15.
Very well.
Good enough for me.
All right, session 0 is in the bag.
I didn't think that's what her voice was going to be, but I guess that's her voice.
You can always change it.
Yeah, it just
No,
was.
you can't. It's set in stone.
That's it. I see. I
John's-
liked your first voice.
John started in on that. I was like, oh, fuck. Are we going to have to put up with this for like 80 episodes?
That was mostly to fuck with you, yes. Hello, friends. How do you do?
We should all just sound like Cartman from South Park.
I'm a
Just make
little
the default,
Bahamut, don't you
dialect.
know?
Big
I'm here to rid the world of this evil scourge, the Red Talons.
Everybody does Cartman, and you're like, come on. And you're like, no, this is my choice.
These are my creative liberties as a character creator.
All right. So next week, we'll find ourselves in the sleepy town of Birth to try to track down Red Talons. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. If I could ask a halfling-sized favor, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the best way to support us. New episodes come out every Monday, so make sure to check your podcast app. Do you have an idea to make the podcast better? Tell us about it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also check out our website to see all the maps, lore, and characters at dungeonsanddebacklespodcast.com. And now a word from our fantasy sponsor. Matt Cedric's got the deals. I'm Matt Cedric of Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium. Is your cleric a creep? Is your druid a drag? Try our healing potions. They put pep in your step and get you back in the fight. A healing potion will never try to convert you to a god or get into a moral debate with you. Just drink it and feel better about the decisions that led you to your current situation. Try our new flavors exclusive to Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium. Berry Blitz, Melon Melee, and Arctic Chill. Side effects may include delusions of grandeur, increased risk of infection, drowsiness, impotence, headache, and bloody stool. Ask your cleric if healing potions are right for you. My prices are so low, I'm practically giving this stuff away. How do I do it? Don't worry about it. Come on in to Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium. We have convenient locations in a city near you. Just talk to the town guard for directions. Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium, where the only thing madder than me is the savings. Matt Cedric's got the deals. The music you heard on this episode was Four Origins, The Chamber, Teller of the Tales, Crowdhammer, Frozen Star, Mystery Bazaar, and Long Road Ahead by Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.